Here we are. Howdy. You guys ready for another JoJo story? JoJo was my brother. His name was Albert Lyndon Jones. And some people called him AJ. Some folks called him JoJo. JoJo was made up, we had a friend of ours we growed up with, and I don't know why I started calling him JoJo. He just, hey JoJo, what you doing? He just always, because AJ was so funny, but he didn't know it. My brother was the type of guy that everything he done was funny. Everybody'd sit around and laugh, but he didn't know it. He was always laughing at. He didn't know he was funny, and everything he did, But I kind of want to straighten something out. Everybody knew he had, towards his later days, he was having some seizures, and of course we know the cancer got him and took him from him. Took him from us. But he's been gone 15 years now, I think. Been a while. But he had these seizures later in life, and pretty much we knew why. I don't think everybody, people that knew him didn't know why, but so maybe I'll straighten it out. He and it's part of him being so damn funny, which this was a bad thing that happened, but it was funny too if you think about it now. But back in the day, we would go hunting. We got into guns, started hunting. Then we got into motor. Of course, we stayed into dirt bikes and motorcycles. Once that started, it stayed on. He was the first, And I remember I was there, but I was maybe too young to ride at the time. But every time Evel Knievel come on television, the next day somebody was going to the emergency room. It's just the way it was. We were going to try something or do something. Well, he had been jumping trash cans. We lived on base housing. We were in the service. My daddy was in the service, and all the service kids was out there. And it was Saturday. They'd been jumping all day. They'd been jumping trash cans, and they started off with one, and they went to two, and jumping them. Went to 3 and 4, and my brother, naturally, he was always the best because he was the biggest in the neighborhood, the oldest, and he had his bicycles took care of real good, and he could jump. And I think he had got up to 12 trash cans and was fixing to jump that 12th trash can and decided to take his little buddy's bicycle and jump with it instead of using his. And that little boy didn't take care of his bicycle. And AJ got him a good run and go like he always did, and everybody cheering on, and he was booking just as fast as he could go, and he hit that ramp and went up in the air, and that little boy's wheel come off that bicycle. Front wheel just fell right off and went bouncing down the road. And I don't know if you've ever seen a set of forks on a bicycle curl up like a handlebar mustache. It just went just like that as soon as he hit the asphalt, and his head went right straight into that asphalt. Now, there used to be a picture. I don't think it exists anymore. I don't have it. Of him sitting on the couch in this red house coat with a straw in his mouth from a milkshake because he couldn't eat nothing because he was tore up. He was bloody all over everywhere. I don't know whatever happened to that picture. But he had got a bad hit to the head then. And Mama said that she immediately could tell the difference in him, that something just wasn't right after that. All right, way on down the road, we're teenagers, or he's a bigger teenager than me. I'm coming into being a teenager. I'm riding motorcycles, and he had a Honda 250, and it wasn't enough. The chain went down the road, and it just after about 2 weeks, we were enough. I could ride it. I'd ride it around the cul-de-sac. It was a little bitty thing, and I could ride the little dirt bikes, But he worked all summer out the gas station out here on the highway. I think he made $1.75 an hour or something back in 1976, 77. And he bought a KY 750, and it was green, and it was big. It was about damn near wore out, but it was still the world to us, and it was fast. Like I said, it was about wore out, but it was still fast enough, any of them get you killed. Damn near did. And we rode the shit out of it for about 3 days. And I wasn't big enough to ride that thing. He was barely big enough to ride it and didn't have no business having it anyway. And there had been a back tire on it that was bald, and Daddy's old man kept saying, "You gotta fix that tire," and you fix that tire. You're gonna wish you fixed that tire. And we didn't fix the tire. And we wasn't going fast at all. We went down in the country riding around and down in Jonesboro, and we were coming out of a curve on a downhill slope and was coming to a stop at a stop sign. And there was a ditch line down through there and had a fence line that went down through there and a tobacco patch. And we'd slowed down. We wasn't doing but about 25 miles an hour. We wasn't going fast at all. But it didn't take much. And when we hit that gravel, he had tapped his brakes. And when he hit that gravel, when he tapped his brakes, it kicked that motorcycle sideways. And I was with both feet on the peg and my hand holding the strap. And everybody knows about one of them old motorcycles, them old Hondas and Kawasaki's and stuff. They had a strap on the back of them, and you could hold on to them. And so I was holding on to that strap. When we come around that corner, it kicked that motorcycle sideways, and then all of a sudden it just shot it straight again. And right down off that hill, and I jumped, I just bounced, pulled up on that strap and let go of it and kicked off of them pegs and landed up in the road, flat on my feet, standing up, and watched him go down off that hill. And that barbed wire had old farm posts every so often, you know. And the barbed wire had been stretched out into a big square at the top and just a straight line at the bottom, but it was stretched out at the top, just a whole bunch. And the rest of it was just broke away and rolled up. I don't know what, something had went through it. I don't know if right before we got there, God had opened it up. But when I kicked off of that motorcycle, it kicked the back of that motorcycle straight up in the air over his head, and he rolled with it. And it went right head over heels, and it went right through that fence, right through that barbed wire, and scratched that motorcycle all pieces and never touched him. And it rolled right through, and that motorcycle went one way and he went the other and hit his head about 3 good times, but nothing else, no scar, no nothing anywhere. Didn't hurt him nowhere else, but he did bounce off of his head about 3 times. He had three great big knots. And I think that's the second hit that he got that caused it. That motorcycle hitting the mud or dirt or whatever down through there, tore that tobacco patch all to pieces, and it was running, and he was hollering up, doing this, and I was trying to get down off the hill at him. And I finally got to it, and finally I didn't know what to do, and he was going like this, going gas, 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 and I was like, oh, you know, so I turned it off, and it boom, 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 finally cut down. Worst part was getting that motorcycle back up off that bank. We had to take it, kick it sideways, like to never got it. It tore us up worse getting that motorcycle back up off that hill and back on the road than it did crashing it. We started that motorcycle and rode it right back to town, took it to the car wash, washed all that damn shit off of it. It was tore up, had tail lights gone on it, and everything's bent on it. I think the back, he eventually had to get a new tire before he got rid of it because it was warped. And I don't think anybody ever found out. I don't think Dad ever found out. But he had them 3 knots on his head, and I remember that. And I don't think anybody really ever knew. I think maybe Ralph Hill knew and some people in the neighborhood, but nobody ever told Dad. You know, because that's the way it was. You know, we'd come to the dinner table, it was all skimmed up from road rash, where we'd crashed a skateboard or done something and tore ourselves up. And you didn't say anything because you knew, you know, this was a firm military man. You get your ass whipped if you done something wrong. So, you know, you'd put a shirt on and be sitting there dying at the dinner table because you didn't come to dinner table without a shirt on. And it was just, so I think that's why he had them seizures he had, because he took some major bumps early on. Oh, JoJo. We had it rough. I was Eldon and he was Elbert. We was like Bert and Ernie. Had to fight our way through school. No stories of JoJo. I miss you, brother.